What's up, my YouTube peeps? Wanted to check in with you on kind of an interesting little ongoing project based on some alternative medicine treatment I'm getting right now, and a weird tie-in with, of all things, this new pair of Thursday boots, which still smell amazing. Without boring you with all the tremendous details, I'm getting treated at this place that does a lot of very detailed total body assessment in terms of physical stature, positioning, balance, alignment, and looking at how that affects your physiology overall. And one of the things they did is they noticed. They kind of measure you. They have you stand and they measure you all these different ways. Take all these measurements where you're tilted and turned and rotated and dropped and what have you. And then they do the same assessment when you're laying down on a table, not under the influence of gravity, and then compare them. And one of the things that they noticed in my assessment was that I seemed to have a leg length inequality, which is not uncommon. You know, a lot of people have them to some degree or another. One leg's a little shorter than the other. So they sent me for an x-ray, a standing pelvis x-ray, barefoot. And based on that x-ray, they were able to determine that I had a leg length inequality of approximately 9 millimeters. Now, 9 millimeters doesn't seem like a lot until you recognize that, number one, it's almost a centimeter, which is like, I don't know what, between a quarter and a half an inch. And that even small amounts of misalignment can cause problems, but something that big can affect your stance. They can affect the rotation and tilt of your pelvis, which affects your spine, which goes all the way up to your neck and even into your cranium. So these things get out of balance, and then they get everything else out of balance, and then you're walking around trying to compensate, often unconsciously, because I've been living with this my whole life and never knew. So what they did to check it, they had some mats that had a 9 millimeter lift, and they had me stand normal without them, and they took measurements, and then they had me stand on the lift on the, in this case, the left side, and I went into alignment when I was on the lift. So I will just kind of advise that I don't really have any other kind of issues, like any kind of joint compromise, no arthritis, no degeneration in my spine or joints that I'm aware of. That could be another potential cause of some of these kinds of things. I'm a pretty healthy, pretty fit guy, especially for my age. So anyway, long story short, they sent me to a special cobbler they use. He put a 9 millimeter lift in my left shoe that I wear at work. And I thought, okay, as soon as I put these things on, I'm going to be walking around going like this. But it really wasn't like that at all. Actually, the shoes were very easy to adjust to. And even before I got the lift, as I started thinking about my gait and thinking about myself walking, I noticed that I did kind of feel a little out of balance when I walked. And so anyway, I've been wearing these shoes for a couple of weeks. I went back last week. They did a total assessment of me again, and a lot of the things that were out of alignment are now in alignment. So needless to say, I'm having some of my other shoes done, which brings me to the tie-in, my brand new Thursday boots. Now, when I bought these purposely because I didn't want to spend a bunch of money getting a bunch of crappy shoes lifted that weren't ideal or super comfortable or high quality anyway. So I kind of bought these with the expectation and plan that this would be done to them, but when it came time to do it, and the cobbler's telling you, yeah, we're going to have to grind off about half of the old sole, the front part of it, like we're doing a half sole resole. And I'm going to put the lift in, and then I'm going to put a new sole on, and it'll be easily as good as what came on the boot probably better. And, you know, I hesitated for a day or two to pull the trigger, and then I kind of went ahead with it. So I thought this could be an interesting sort of semi-empirical project assessing the wear life of the stock Thursday Boots sole compared to my resole. And by the way, just so you can see how big of a difference 9 millimeters is, let's see if I can get that lined up. Pretty significant. It's almost double the height of a normal sole. Let me show you on the heels, because they lifted the heels also. There's not really much point in doing one part of the shoe and not the whole shoe. So there's the heels. Pretty significant difference. Actually, I'm not quite lined up there. So it's not easy to do. Okay. Pretty significant difference. So I just thought it would be kind of cool to see how the wear life on the stock soles compares to the wear life on a resole. And this is your, if you notice, it says Vibram outsole. This is what they use on a lot of like combat boots, what have you, different kinds of things. And and I think they actually reused the original heel. They just put a lift in between. So I, for one, am excited to try walking around in these with the lifts, number one. But number two, I'm also excited for the science of trying to see how these compare to my stock Thursday soles. And it might be some useful information for Thursday boots as well. You know, I'm sure they kind of came up with this sole design. It's kind of proprietary. So it might be interesting to kind of be able to give them some feedback on wear life, on, you know, grippiness, how well it grips on, you know, tile floors or a wet surface or outdoors. If I notice a difference, you know, to be able to give them some feedback like that. So obviously it's unsolicited, it's probably unnecessary, and I probably have too much free time and should get a life or a girlfriend. But for now, this is my project of the moment. So it is Tuesday, April 13th, as of the shooting of this video. I'll probably loop back with you guys in a few months. After these kind of fully break in, I promised you guys a broken in video follow-up anyway. So probably at that same time, I will give you an assessment of how the soles are wearing. I'm probably going to wait a while. I'm probably going to wait about 6 months or so, so that I get some good use out of them and see where they are. But if my suspicions are correct about the quality of their product, we're probably going to be pleasantly surprised and impressed by how they fare later on. So stay tuned for that. And just want to let you guys know, if you're having kind of chronic back problems or neck problems or what have you, you know, go someplace and get assessed. I like to go to these schools. I've been to, this is like a medically based neurosomatic massage school that I'm going to now. I've also been to a chiropractic school that was adjacent to my x-ray school, and we could get treated there for free because we were students. For one thing, you get treated for free, you get assessed for free. They're under the supervision of trained and experienced professionals, and they may help uncover some things that have been plaguing you, but you haven't been able to explain or haven't been able to get relief from using traditional treatments. And you get to be kind of a useful case study for up-and-coming students, usually pretty far along in their training, in the case of like a chiropractic school, for example. But, you know, in the case of this school, they're kind of at all different levels. I have a couple people treating me over there. and you get to kind of become part of someone's experience and knowledge base and help them to become better at their practice so that they can help other people that they might meet later that have similar issues. So just want to encourage you guys to do that. Let me know if you have any questions about shoe lifts, about leg length inequality, about who you can go to get some of these kind of assessments, who you can go to get this kind of work done. Most you could check with your local cobbler. I don't even want to say most local cobblers do this. I think there's only some that specialize in this kind of thing. So you want to call and make sure that they do leg length lifts and that they do them to a degree of specificity down to, say, millimeters, so that you can get proper alignment. I really did not like the idea of this. It was actually suggested to me by a chiropractor after one of my car accidents, probably about 10 or 15 years ago, and I ignored him then. I didn't want to do it. I used a heel lift for a while until I thought it was evened out, as if, like I suddenly grew a few inches. And then I just kind of stopped. And so who knows, I probably could have been benefiting from this all along. Anyway, thanks for checking in, guys. More to come. Thank you for your patience as I kind of get back up to speed with video production here. And thank you again for all your supportive comments and for subscribing, because that helps me, which helps me to help you. So take care, peace out, and God bless. I'll catch you later.